Well, hello there my friends, welcome back to the Scott Reed Project. Now today we are going to do my new favourite dish, rabbit confit. Absolutely superb. I did this for the first time about a month ago, and to tell you the truth, I was absolutely blown away. Now I know I say that about everything, but this really was something special. Now it's not very complicated. All you need is time. So first thing we need to do then is lightly cure these by salting them down. What I've got here is 4 back legs and the 4 front legs or shoulders. So what we need to do in a non-reactive dish, very simple, get them in, liberally cover them in salt. So just give it a bit on that side. That will draw out the moisture and just start curing it, almost bacon type. Now what you want to do is, once you've got these nicely salted, nicely covered, is cover it, put it in the fridge for a minimum of 2 hours. And then what we'll do, we'll take them out, wash off the salt, pat them dry, and then we'll start making up our confit. We're going to use duck fat, you can use goose fat, whatever you want. You can actually use olive oil, whatever, but I think duck fat, goose fat is the way forward, and it's absolutely superb done in that. Absolutely fantastic. Right, I think we got enough on there. So like I said then, covered in the fridge a minimum of 2 hours. So while they are just gently curing them, we're going to sort out our duck fat or goose fat, whatever you're using. This is the fat I did my first batch of confit in. Now the beauty of duck fat, goose fat is you can use it time and time again. All you need to do is, when you've finished, is reheat it, strain it, and then store it back in the fridge, as you can see in an old Coke bottle. So what I need to do then is get this back on the heat and start warming it through. I'll give it another strain because I can see a few bits at the bottom then, and then we can get our herbs and our aromatics ready for the wonderful confit. So while we are waiting for our duck legs to just finish off lightly curing, we need to prepare our duck fat. Like I said then, just gently melt it in a pan. And then we're going to add our aromatics and our herbs. So on this plate then, I have got 2 twigs of rosemary, they go in, 5 twigs of fresh thyme, they go in, 4 shallots if you've got small ones. I've got 1 big banana shallot in half, that goes in. In there is 5 cloves and 10 black peppercorns. I've got 2 bay leaves, and here I've got 4 beautiful cloves of garlics, which I have just smashed. I'm going to get them in there as well. Now you can just keep that on a light heat if you want to, but if you're nearing the end of the curing, just leave it like it is. But we get that in the oil now and get it all mixing together, so we've got a beautiful base to lay those rabbit legs in. I mean, I cannot explain enough how amazing this is. Right, that's enough jiving from me. Let's deal with the legs. So after a minimum of 2 hours, as you can see here how they've changed colour, they've got a little bit harder. And if you look in the bottom of the pan or your tray, all that moisture is come out of them. What we need to do with these then is quickly rinse them under a cold tap, dry them off completely, and we'll lay them back in this bowl once we clean it out. You can really notice the change in those now. So I've washed the salt off, washed the dish out, dried these off. Now what we need to do is get our oil and our herbs and aromatics on this until it's completely covered. So nice and gentle. Tuck it up nicely in that lovely, lovely fat. with a bit of a shufty, making sure that they're not stuck to the bottom. And then what we want to do is we want to preheat our oven to gas mark 0.5 or 130 degrees centigrade. Basically, you just want them ticking over, and we'll get them in there for 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. The trick is to catch it before it falls off the bone. Now, if you cook it too short, they will be tough. If you cook it too long, there will just be a mass of meat in the oil. So check it after about an hour and a half, 2 hours. If you could pull it away from the bone, Robert, your mother's brother. Right, in the oven. How good does that look? So after 3 hours then, your rabbit confit will look a little something like this. Now, as you may see, I've already took the shoulders out, bearing in mind they are a little smaller, so they didn't take so long. They took about 2 hours, but as you can see here, 3 hours in. Remember, this is a hard working muscle. This is the leg. The rabbit is an athlete. It's absolutely superb. It's tender. It's juicy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these out, put them on a plate, and I want to strain that duck fat, because obviously we're going to store these in a jar or any sealed container, and then we're going to pour that duck fat on top, and that allows us to keep this easily for a month. I mean, last time I made these, I kept it for 3 weeks, took them out, cooked them. They absolutely blew my mind. Let's just have a quick look at that. Bearing in mind, this is the leg. Look how easy that's pulling apart. How juicy. Flavour. Superb. Will only get better with age. Right, let's strain off this duck fat. Take it steady. This is liquid gold. And just gently pour it in, catching all the bits of funk, all those aromats, all those veggies. Then we're just left with the good stuff. So I've got my kilner jar then. Like I said, I've already got my shoulders in there. I'm going to pack my legs in there. Get them in nice and tight. God, that's hot. Got our duck fat. And just cover it completely. Giving it a shake. We want it so it's completely covered. Get in there, my beauties. Couldn't be easier. Lid on. In the fridge. It is a work of art. Okay then, my friends, isn't it beautiful? Now, once you've got to this stage, sealed, you can keep this for months. And the longer you keep it, the better it will be. But here on the SRP, we can't do that. We need to show you what it looks like cooked and how it tastes. And it tastes amazing. So what you need to do then is fish a couple of the legs out. Now, I put it in this jar for, if you were going to preserve this for a long time, you keep it in this jar. I mean, if you're going to keep it for a couple of weeks, just put it in a plastic container with a lid on. It will be easier to get out. But I'm just going to dig a couple of these out, and then we'll get them in the pan. And I can't wait, because I know what's coming. So all you do then is take out your lovely rabbit leg. Just take off the excess duck fat, and then just put it in the pan. Now we're just going to add a little bit of colour, crisp it up, gently warm it through, and I tell you what, it's a dream. So once they're done then, we will remove them from the pan. I really can't wait for this. We'll drain them on a plate. Just have a look at that. Hey, I cannot wait to get this down my neck. Okay then, the moment of truth. Have a look at my lovely board. The catcher and the Rea. Here is my beautiful Confit rabbit legs. And just look how this ridiculously normally tough piece of meat just falls apart. Oh man. The flavour. Just have a look at that. How it just pulls apart. Remember, the rabbit, it is an athlete. It's a supermodel. It's got no fat on it. And what is normally, as you know, hard to cook, just becomes this beautiful tender. Especially with that caramelised bit on. It's out of this world. It is my new favourite best thing. Does that make sense? Excuse me a moment. That didn't last long. Believe you me, this is absolutely immense. I mean, I'm just eating it like this. Shred it on a salad. Why not shred it? Get some barbecue sauce on it. Pulled rabbit. What's not to like? I mean, it's absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. Right, I'm going to finish this up. And then I'm going to sum this video up. Wow, my dear friends, there is your rabbit confit. And you really, really must try this. And I know I say that all the time, but this is something special. I absolutely adore it. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen here on the SRP, please click subscribe when my face comes down in this corner. Come on, people, click that button. Join the movement. Also, find me on my social media on Facebook, 2 pages, Scott Rea and the Scott Rea Project. Get on there, click like and follow. Also on my Twitter, at the Scott Rea Project. And if you're feeling generous, share the love, and you want to help with the SRP, do check out my Patreon page. The link will be in the description. But until next time, I mean, I've run out of words to say about this. I could have just ate that whole jar. Very, very decadent, I know, but it is that good. And just a little note on this board. Some of you may and some of you may not know that I've got a cookbook coming out in July. It's going to be called Ahead of the Game, the Catcher and the Rea. Hence the fancy board by my beautiful other half. But more on that later. Until next time, my friends, take care. Get your confit on.
Ready? Yeah. Ahead of the Game. Buy your copy now.